Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Damergis for the Sports Sitdown, along with a casual Anthony Carlo coming straight from the gym. And I just want you to know I really appreciate the BO, by the way. Speaking of BO, how about the Jets? Does it get any worse than that?
No.
Todd Bowles has lost the team. Darrell Revis has quit. And I don't know what Ryan Fitzpatrick's doing. This team is a disaster. Week after week, it's a disaster. And the sad part is the last 3 weeks, they're all games they could have won, and they could have been in contention for something, and they let it slip through their hands. Todd Bowles should be fired.
Yeah, well, Mike, when you talk about the Jets, you talk about an organization that needs a complete overhaul. Okay?
Again. Anthony, every 5 years they go through this. They need an overhaul every 5 years. It's not rebuilding, it's remodeling. And I've seen this time and time again with the Jets. I can't take it anymore.
No, I understand that. Now, I understand it all starts with leadership, and obviously Todd Bowles has not been. I'm wrong on this because I really thought Todd Bowles was going to turn this team around. Todd Bowles seemed to be the guy. All right, he was a back when he was playing.
Former player,
the secondary continues to collapse.
Guy in his 40s, from Jersey, an African American coach that the players can relate to. Clearly, they're not relating to him. Maybe they need a guy that's going to kick him in the ass like a Bill Parcells.
Yeah, or maybe they need another quarterback or another defensive back here or something that can really help this. It all starts with the players. I don't care how much a coach is going to guide a team along and be at the helm for the season. When you don't have the players to win, you can't win.
But, Anthony, they have the players. It's pretty much they have the same players that they had last year. From day one, opening week, the defensive backs didn't know what they were doing. It looked like the defensive line was playing a little bit better early on, but clearly they're not. Clearly the linebackers, the young linebacker they drafted in the draft is not playing to his potential. Clearly the defensive backs don't know what they're doing. The coverage is not there. Darrell Revis should return the money that he got.
Can I ask you one question? Are you going to win a championship with Ryan Fitzpatrick as your quarterback?
No, but they should have been good enough to go to the playoffs and at least win a playoff game. So whether you're not going to go through New England, you're not going to beat a quarterback like that in the AFC and win a Super Bowl or an AFC championship, but you should be good enough to make a playoff.
Darrell Revis doesn't surprise me saying that he's going to hang it up. That really surprises you? The guy is getting up there in age.
I already thought he was retired.
Yeah, exactly. You can see it. He doesn't have the drive anymore. Okay, he's lost a step in my opinion. And when that gets alerted to you, you don't want to leave it out there to hang yourself. Pretty much. Guy was a great player. I'm not mad at him for saying that he doesn't want to play anymore. Especially on a team like the Jets.
And let's talk about Todd Bowles a little bit. They're saying we need to give him another year. Why? He went into the last game of the season against a beatable Buffalo team and lost it, costing them the playoffs. They came into this year, and it's been nothing but a disaster since week one. No major injuries to speak of. Okay, Eric Decker, but no major injuries to speak of, and they have the record that they do. That's unacceptable. Why do I need to see another year of this? Why do I see another year wasted down, winless lane with the New York Jets? They're going to start losing season ticket holders. They're not going to renew. I didn't renew this year. A lot of fans aren't going to renew. And this is coming off a year when they were supposed to be better than last year. This is unacceptable.
Yeah. The end of the road is near, I feel like, for this whole franchise. I don't think that – I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets, the owners sell the team and it just goes downhill from there.
Well, he's not going to sell the team. That's not happening. But as Don Meredith used to sing at the end of Monday Night Football, turn out the lights, the party's over. But for one
stick
team,
to your day job.
Yeah, for one team that the party's still going on, to New York Giants, it hasn't been pretty at all at times. But they're winning games that they were losing last year, and they really control their own destiny as they look down the road here, sitting at 8-3.
Coming into this season, I looked at the Giants roster. They have a team that has, in my opinion, the right chemistry to go all the way. Now, it just depends on can they remain, or I should say, rise to the occasion in the moments that are going to matter down the stretch here and into the playoffs. Will they win the Super Bowl this year? I don't know how confident I am in that.
You're going a little far.
But I'm just telling you.
Maybe a playoff win is the best that they can do this year because the offense and the defense, early on the offense is carrying the defense. The defense is coming up and making plays this year. Janoris Jackson making plays. JPP finally back to the old JPP. Sure. So the defense has come alive, and if they could get that lightning in a bottle like they had in 2011, they could make a little run in the postseason. But to me, Dallas owns the NFC East, which is apparent. They're right now the number one seed in the NFC, and the only team that could kind of maybe knock them off, The only team that would be dangerous that nobody wants to play, of course, in the playoffs is the Seattle Seahawks.
Of course. My only point to you, though, is in recent times, the last 2 Super Bowl rings that the Giants slapped on their fingers, were either year, were you confident that team was going to win the Super Bowl? I wasn't.
Not by any stretch of any kind of.
So don't count them out.
No, 2011 too. I remember Week 14 they lost to the Redskins at home to a low Redskins team, and I remember Chris Canty saying we could learn from this game, and I said to him, "What are you going to learn after 14 weeks in the NFL?" I was wrong. They went on to win the Super Bowl.
Sleeper pick.
Speaking to someone that's got it right is the New York Mets. I can't believe I'm saying that. Signing Yoenis Cespedes to a nice big deal. 4 years, over $100 million. Hey, look, you know what? They spent the money that they used to spend as an organization. They're finally getting through those Madoff years where they couldn't spend money. And if you look at the record the Mets have with Cespedes in the lineup, and when he's not in the lineup, it is night and day. This is a move they had to make.
As they say, Cespedes for the rest of us. That's what Mets fans are. I'll tell you one thing. If George Steinbrenner was still alive, this would have never happened. Yoenis Cespedes would have been a New York Yankee. But I do want to commend the Mets for actually spending the money, making a move to lock up a player for, I believe, 4 years, $110 million. Mm-hmm. That's not a terrible contract. They didn't get drawn into some outrageous contract like many of the players are asking for nowadays, 8-10 years, where you know the back end of that you're going to pay for. So the fact that they got Yoenis for 4 years and are able to insert his bat into the lineup on a team that struggled offensively, I really do commend the Mets front office for making that move.
Well, the Mets have a lot of other issues to worry about, like what's going to be the story over at first base, what's going to be the story over at third base, what are we doing in right field, what are we doing in left field, how healthy are the arms going to be coming back. So a lot of story to be written for the New York Mets. Major League Baseball made some changes, and I think a good one. Mm-hmm. The All-Star Game will not determine home field advantage, what it should be, the team with the best record. It should have always been that in the history of baseball. It should never have been opposite and even like that with American League, National League. But if you think about it, Cubs had the best record in baseball last year, right?
Yes.
That if they would have had home field advantage in games 6 and 7, Schwarber wouldn't have been playing in those games, and he was key. He was key in Game 7.
Oh, absolutely.
So if you think about that, it actually worked to their advantage, the Cubs, not having home field advantage.
Sure. Now, one thing I want to say about this is the fact that just get used to watching the MLB All-Star Game become like the NBA All-Star Game. Nobody's going to care anymore. At least when you were watching baseball and it came time for the All-Star Game, players took on a little bit more of a serious tone when they actually started playing. I mean, they weren't like these basketball players who don't play defense when it comes to the All-Star Game. But now that the All-Star Game means nothing anymore because home field advantage will go to the best record, that's the only downside to it.
I mean, there's a little bit of there's still a lot of history left with the All-Star Game, but now that with interleague play, there's nothing special. When I was growing up, it was special to see Catfish Hunter pitching against Steve Garvey, or Tom Seaver pitching against Reggie Jackson and stuff like that. That was special. Now the All-Star Game really has lost its luster, has absolutely no meaning, and it's kind of like going to go the way of the other All-Star Games. They mean nothing. In the NHL, it's a joke. The NBA, it's a joke. The NFL, I don't know what that is.
Oh, sure, the NFL. Right move. Baseball made the right move, Mike.
Absolutely, and you always make the right move with here on the show. He's Anthony Carlo. I'm Mike Damergis for the Sports Sit Down.